I'm into the bodybuilding, of course, and some of the complaint has been that it's all about mass and not about symmetry. People want to blame steroids for the death of some bodybuilders when in actuality it's almost like cocaine, dude. I don't get stuff that I put into my body that's made in somebody's bathtub. Fuck their bathtub. So can you win and not be the best poser? Yeah, at 7 weeks, your nuts kind of shut off. If you're going to go through all that, you might as well make it worth it. Do 3 more weeks. You're not going to die. And it's true, because that's the little things that people don't get to see, that they don't know about the competitors. There are people that would like to grow the sport, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. It's very, very tough, because I think it was controversial about taking PEDs at a young age. How would he do if he ever stepped on stage? But he had more to lose than to gain. Trump set a noon deadline, and Hamas has been dripping out hostages, 3 or 4 at a time. Okay. You have J.D. Vance over there talking to Germany and said some things they weren't very happy about. Totally unempathetic to people losing their jobs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it sucked. It just has to happen. The refrain now is, we didn't vote for Elon Musk. No, but we voted for this to happen, and we knew he was going to be put in charge of what he's in charge of. You're going to be thought of as great throughout history if you can bring peace to the Middle East. As long as you're not fucking with us, creating chaos and stuff, we're good. We shouldn't be in the business of being in everybody else's business, because we've done that and it hasn't worked out all that well. Doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and
just a motherfucking jump. Just go. Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. And the other fucking guy who's ready to go is Chase.
Yo,
Chase,
what's
up, man?
Actually awake this time around.
We're getting it. We are getting it. So, how was your weekend so far?
So far so good, man. So far so good. A lot of cleaning and maintenance on the car and stuff like that, but it's looking good. Getting a lot of things done, which is for me very good thing. So that's good. How's your week?
Doing the boring stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, life is about doing the boring stuff and getting that shit done.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It is. Nice. Yeah, I took, we went out for Valentine's. And
I forget that was on Friday. What do you do for Valentine's?
Well, see, that's the thing. See, I'm not one, and my dad's the same way.
Yeah.
Not one who really celebrates Valentine's all that much.
Really,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't buy flowers, but I bought her flowers like a week and a half ago or something. I like to buy flowers just because.
You shouldn't need a holiday or a special day.
Or like to say you're sorry or something. Yep. Like, I never did that. Like, I just want to buy flowers just
because you want to buy them flowers.
Because.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's more my thing. But here's the thing. We would have went out to eat Friday night, whether it was Valentine's or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we were celebrating Valentine's. And the biggest difference is you have to realize in advance by a couple of weeks or more that it's going to be one of the biggest nights out.
Yep. Anywhere, honestly.
For the year.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want reservations. And they had a set menu. They gave you different options. We went to our favorite place, which is Bourbon Steak.
Gotcha.
Which is at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess. And let's see, I think I've had a craving for a little, and I used to get New York strips all the time.
Okay.
And then, but I've always been a filet person as well.
Fair.
You know, the filet mignon. But I just went through a long period where that was pretty much what I ordered, was just a filet.
Yeah.
Now, when I did carnivore, I started doing some ribeyes and stuff in there too, you know. But I just wanted a little bit chewier steak, I guess. So that's why I went, to the New York strip, and it was fantastic. Dawn did have the filet. We had Caesar salad. We had, you know, the sides. It was good, but it was like basically kind of set.
Yeah.
There were some things you could add that we didn't add, although I want to sometimes. I don't know if you've ever done. Have you ever had caviar?
I have, but I'm not the huge. Like I like seafood, but caviar is like it's okay.
So Dawn's not really a seafood person.
Mhm.
I do like crab legs. I do
Ooh,
like
yes.
lobster.
Oh, yeah.
So I will eat seafood,
Mhm.
but I've never had caviar.
Okay.
But I remember as a kid, my dad eating blue collar caviar.
Okay. Okay.
And that's what I call it, because that was fish eggs from like a bullhead or catfish.
Yeah.
And I never tasted it, never. So I have no idea what fish eggs taste like.
Yeah.
But sometime, I didn't then, but sometime, I don't care if I spend the money and don't eat more than one bite of it.
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
just not going to order the biggest amount of it. But whatever it is, I do want to try it sometime.
Oh, you still didn't try it?
I still haven't my whole life. I'm 56 years old and I haven't tried
I
it.
think with caviar, there's definitely a certain way to eat it. Like because I feel like eating caviar straight up is, at least in my opinion, is not the best. But again, I know there's different levels of caviar and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I definitely think there's because I tried it by itself, and again, like
I don't know about that.
it's all right. Like if you like seafood, then I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But it's definitely something like caviar is definitely like a topping on something. Like
Yeah,
or at least
that's
for
what
me,
I would expect.
like some sort of chip, something with texture in it.
Yeah,
'cause
they
just
would
by
do
itself,
that there.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I would expect they'd have something like that for that. So, yeah, I didn't. So they had some things like that, and we're
Mhm.
not like even. I'm not an oyster person either.
Okay,
You know
so
what
yeah,
I mean?
Yep.
So we didn't get that. So it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was
Yeah.
a set menu. Everything was set. The service was excellent. And then yesterday, we worked out. We went and did a little shopping. We ended up. I can't believe that I hadn't taken her yet to Santan Flat,
Okay.
which is right near the house
Yeah, it's
here.
right down the
It's
street.
5 minutes
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, it's a big bar, and they have an inside and stuff, but the big part is outside.
Yeah.
That they have a dance floor, they have bands on the weekends, and they have burner barrels all over the place. And for this time of year, they're going to be fired up
Oh,
and
yeah.
going because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cooler at night. It was maybe mid 60s when we got there
Okay.
last night, but it was so packed. I mean, I've been there during the day and I've been there at night,
Uh-huh.
but that was the longest I've ever seen the line to order
Sure.
food. It was 3 times as long as what I would say I normally see. It was
Yeah.
long.
Wow.
And then by the time we were getting there, we waited in line. We had to be pushing an hour.
Oof.
Which
That's
I
rough.
am not that kind of patient person, but
No.
I didn't want to go anywhere else.
Especially for food.
And it was a good time. It was packed. It was like a big giant party. People, it was almost like a country wedding because you
Okay.
had little kids, you had teenagers,
Gotcha. Okay.
you had couples, you had families, you had groups of people out drinking. I mean,
so there's a little bit
there's
of
a
everything in
mix
there.
of everything, but definitely this is a country place. This is how country this is. Well, the parking lot's dirt
Yep.
for the most part, and we probably got one of the last 3 parking spots left.
Yeah. I'm
Right?
not surprised. Yeah.
That I've seen during the day when I've gone there to have lunch.
Uh-huh.
People ride their horses up to Santan
Yeah, I've
Flat.
seen a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Passing by.
Or a group of people will ride their horse. So they're out riding, they ride there and have lunch. And when I first got here to Arizona, that was the first place where I really seen open carry,
Okay.
because we have open carry
Yeah.
here. But this was a different kind of open carry.
On the waistband.
Oh,
over
dude,
the
like
shirt.
they had the belt and the gun on the
Oh,
side,
the leg
like it
strap.
was
Really?
like a fucking movie.
All right.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, that's pretty
the
dope.
guns
That's
up
pretty
like
dope. I fuck with that.
Yeah. So very, 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 very country. And of course, we put our boots on and went.
Hell yeah.
But the food, that was the first time I got New York strip there. And I don't know if it was 29 or 30. It had to be just $29, dude. Because you get it like, I think our bill ended up. Remember when I was saying about our Chick-fil-A bill?
Yeah.
That it was like $48?
Yeah.
I think our bill, and we both had steak. No, she had a burger. She had a burger. I had the 12-ounce New York strip choice, which that's good. Was like $60. And I think I left they didn't take American Express, so I just threw down a $100 bill because basically, that was less than what my tip is at most
Like
of
a
the other
sit-down
restaurants that we go to,
Yeah.
so I was like, this was good. And I will say that $29 steak was as good as the $100 steaks there, at least there.
As good or better?
It was as good as the $100 steaks I
Okay.
get other places.
So it's worth the
Yes.
yeah.
They
then
did a
especially
good
'cause-
job, and I got a baked potato with, real butter,
Hell yeah.
like I ate healthy,
Nice.
and yeah, but it was great. But that was, I don't know why we haven't gone, but yeah, it was
Probably
one of the
gonna go there a
places.
little more often now.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll put that in the repertoire because Dawn likes to dance too, and she likes to line dance,
Yeah.
and so. But it's a great place. I mean, there is nothing remotely like that.
Anywhere else?
Not
Not
in
where
Ohio,
Chloe
not
sells.
where I'm
in
from.
Ohio, gotcha. Okay.
And I don't know many other places like this. It's a lot of fun. Just
No,
a
I
good place
bet.
to go. The food was fantastic. Yeah, it was just a nice night. And then
Yeah.
this morning, we went to church, and now we're gonna
Get the show going.
Get the show going,
Hell yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah. You've been listening to the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. We're happy that you are, giving you more every week of what you didn't ask for. And to get more, please hit that subscribe button, share this or any of the shows with a friend, bring more people into the fold, be a part of the Outlaw Apostle family. Much love and respect. I'm the fucking guy. So I wanted to start. I haven't been watching as closely recently, but I'm into the bodybuilding, of course, besides the health and fitness, and follow it and things, sometimes more closely than others. Over the last number of years, the face of bodybuilding has been Chris Bumstead.
Oh yeah, easily.
And he's a phenomenal bodybuilder. And I think he's won 6 times in a row. Supposedly he's retired now. He did. I'm pretty sure he competed once after the last Olympia, maybe, and came in because typically he wins, right?
Yeah. I mean,
But-
anytime I've seen him, it's because he's winning something
Right.
bodybuilding wise.
But I think I don't know if he came in third. But you have to understand that weight is something very, very similar. Yeah, there you go. The Prague Pro. So he came in second. And see, here's the difference. Look at the category. He's been dominant. He's been dominant in classic physique.
Yeah.
But he competed in the open, and that's the biggest guys there is.
Gotcha.
And some of the complaint has been that it's all about mass and not about symmetry.
Okay.
And me growing up, it was the bodybuilders that were the heavyweights that were in the open were about symmetry. And I would compare Chris Bumstead a lot to Arnold Schwarzenegger
Okay.
as far as size and height and everything, and weight, because Arnold would compete in that 230 to 250 area, which is where Chris is.
Okay, so they would have competed against each other technically.
Oh, they could have. Yeah, I mean, that's what it was more like then.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then if you even look at the one on the right picture, I think that's a kind of a fair representation that you can see that there's a little that Chris has more striations, that you see more of the fineness of the muscle and little lines of the muscle than what you would see with simply because there's probably a couple percent difference in body fat.
Okay.
You know, Chris is probably closer to, you know, the 3-4%. And I really don't think somebody can get lower than 3%.
That
Um,
that's not possible, is it?
Not really,
I
because you
yeah.
have so much that's just around arteries and
I was
stuff
about to
that
say
you
you end up
can't
killing
get rid
yourself, right?
of. Yeah, well, people want to blame steroids for the death of some bodybuilders when in actuality it's really
Malnutrition.
well it's the diuretics that they use now. Is there are some diuretics, one's called DNP, that it's almost like cocaine, dude. Like, I don't know
Really?
how else to describe it. Like, look, I've been personally, I have been into over the course of my life stimulants like caffeine. You know,
Okay.
caffeine is a stimulant.
Yep.
And I used to take ephedrine for years and years until they banned it, you know, and you had synthetic ephedrine and I'm talking about real ephedrine, not pseudo ephedrine, you know what I
I'm
mean?
not quite sure what the difference is.
Well, the thing is what happened was they started getting the ephedrine
Okay.
at the stores and buying the bottles and boxes and, you know, it was used in cold medicines and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
And they started making methamphetamine out of it.
Gotcha.
So that's why if you go to the store now, sometimes you got something that was always over the counter.
It's not behind a glass door.
You have to ask for
Yeah.
because
Stuff like that.
because they were making meth out of it. But that's telling you what
was like in the actual ingredients of what they were taking and stuff
right.
like that. Yeah.
But something it was very popular was called an EAC stack, which was ephedrine, aspirin, and caffeine. That was over the counter or ECA. Yeah. Ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin. That was like years ago. They used to have fat burners that they would sell over the counter that used to work.
Okay.
Okay. Now those same companies sell their fat burners, but without the ephedrine in it.
Okay.
And they don't work like they used to work. They're a waste of money.
Gotcha.
But instead of spending, say, $60 on a bottle of 30 pills, you know, what a lot of us did is instead of buying whatever the over-the-counter shit was from some company, is we would just buy the ingredients. We would buy them separately.
They're gonna list them out for you, yeah.
Well, it was cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, they do list them out. It's on the back of the thing.
Yeah.
And we would put it together and, you know, just energy-wise, just what you did. Kind of like, that was like my generation's what Adderall is to your generation.
Gotcha, okay.
Does that make sense?
That's a
little
great comparison.
bit?
Yeah,
I think it is a pretty good comparison,
comparison.
you know?
A lot of people out here on their Adderall.
There you go. I'm not saying it was smart of me or healthy, but I did it for years, you know, just staying awake, being up, working out, you know,
Staying
being
focused.
a drunk. Yeah, you know, when you drink till 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to be up at 5.
You need something to get you up.
You needed something, and
yeah.
and you know, and in fact, when they made it illegal in different states at different times, I would come out here to Arizona in the early 2000s, like I would buy a couple boxes of bottles of it, you know,
Yeah.
because it was legal.
Yeah.
And just take it.
Good old
take it
Arizona.
home. Fuck yeah. But this DNP is off the chart. Like, somebody really has to be careful taking that.
Gotcha.
That of all of the things, to me, that has a risk. Like, I'm not worried about the risk of testosterone. I'm so tired of people, and I know I complain about it all the time, but people who don't understand testosterone, who have opinions about it, and this is going to happen, or this is the latest one in the fitness group I'm in, and of course the shit that's said about Tren, which is the strongest injectable steroid, is just stupid. That if you don't have side effects from the Tren, then you have bunk Tren, that you have fake Tren.
Huh.
And dude, that's just not true.
So if you don't have a side effect,
if you don't experience a side effect,
then it's fake.
They had opinion that it's fake. Like, because everybody.
That's an interesting opinion, but okay.
Yeah.
I get
everybody has side effects, and if you take more, your side effects, and it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Now, occasionally I will experience side effects from Tren.
Yeah.
And sometimes I won't when I've taken it.
You got to take other outside.
And I know
things.
that it's legit because I not only have used roid test kits, there are test kits that you can buy and test it.
To make sure it's,
to make sure that it is what it is. There are some test kits where you can test the strength of it as well.
Really?
Okay. And then the product that I use, we actually also send out to a professional testing company.
Okay.
That they test drugs. So this isn't just some over-the-counter test.
Some random,
this is a good official test, the same test that the manufacturer uses, or a legit manufacturer uses.
Yeah.
The drug companies themselves, because they're going to test it to test the quality and make sure that it's within a certain range and whatever, that how much of the drug is in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna test that along. So it's just like that. So I know it's real.
Yeah.
100% I know it's real. I don't get stuff that I put into my body, that's made in somebody's bathtub. Fuck their bathtub. Because I'm not a cheap ass looking to spend $35 or $40. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Like, I'm willing to spend a little more than that to make sure it's
real,
good, real and good quality and that kind of a thing. So, yeah, that's not what's killing people.
Yeah.
It's just not. Now, bodybuilding has been a niche sport forever. And over the years, I think after, when it was, like I said, when it was during Arnold's time, symmetry and the flow of your body and, it mattered more.
Okay. So now it's more of just size in general.
At the open level, at the heaviest, biggest dudes. And then came along Dorian Yates and then Ronnie Coleman. And those guys were just fucking monsters.
And those are after Arnold?
After Arnold.
Gotcha. Okay.
And those guys were just huge.
Okay.
Just amazingly huge. And I'm not saying that they weren't good. I mean, some people will say, like me, like I still think of Arnold as the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So, what is considered to be a good bodybuilder? Because I'm not like necessarily too into bodybuilding and stuff like that. So, like, what is the criteria to? Because like in basketball you have like LeBron stats, et cetera, et cetera. What is the criteria that puts a bodybuilder over another?
Size, symmetry, and then they have the presentation.
Okay.
And the presentation is going to be the posing.
Okay.
So, can you win and not be the best poser? Yeah, that happens. But posing does matter because bodybuilding is also part illusion.
Okay. Because of the lights and like
the lights and just the way that you turn a certain way. People don't understand. Like, they just don't. People are critical and they just don't think when they say shit. So when we as just regular folks post pictures and stuff. I mean, have you ever noticed a picture that just you don't like that much because you don't really think it represents you or look like you?
Oh, yeah.
And then there's different angles.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My arms are
They're a good size, yes.
I got good size arms.
Yes.
They're not monsters, but for
your body size.
for 5, and I'm 5'9.5". Okay. For 5'9.5", I have good arms.
I would agree.
Thank you. But I can make them at a certain angle look really big.
Oh, yeah.
And at another angle, I might be doing a video for TikTok where they look okay.
Yeah.
But they don't look huge. They don't look as big.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm kind of that size. I'm kind of that size where sometimes I look bigger than I do others. I'm just not so big that I was. But again, it goes to goals. Because when people think that, or you tell people and are honest like I am and as transparent as I am about using performance-enhancing drugs, you know, apparently those of us that do that are supposed to look massive like these open bodybuilders.
Yep.
And it's just not a thing. And even if I wanted to, genetics plays such an incredible role in that some people, if you're genetically gifted without drugs, and then you add those drugs in, you're going to be genetically gifted with drugs to even a greater degree.
Yeah.
Or I've always mentioned I have this friend, you know, a typical starter dose for testosterone. Like, let's say you came to me and said, Troy, you know, I've been working out because you've been working out for a minute now.
I've been out of the gym for a few months, but
in the
past years,
you were. But, you know, you get back in and you said, you know, look, I've worked out and stuff. I want to have more size to me, and more size than I can get probably naturally.
Yeah.
And a first cycle for just about anyone is going to be 400 to 500 milligrams of testosterone cypionate or enethate.
Okay.
I prefer 15 weeks. Some people do 12. I prefer 15 because if you're going to go through the whole process and at 7 weeks, your nuts kind of shut off. And like if you're going to go, and so when you're done with your 15 weeks, you got to bring your nuts back to working and stuff. If you're going to go through all that, you might as well make it worth it. So that's why I like the 15 weeks and just how it all works out. And also, if you're doing a 10 ml vial and it's 250 milligrams per ml, well, if you do 12 weeks, you're going to have half a bottle left.
At the end of it,
at the end of it, well, just do 3 more weeks. You're not going to die. Like, just do it. Like, that's 400 to 500 milligrams for 15 weeks is, and just test on, not stacking anything else with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just solely that.
You will get beginner gains. Your body will respond if you eat properly, and you should. The better you eat and the better your diet is, the better your results are going to be, period.
And that's just in general, whether you're using or not.
Period. And then I shouldn't assume, but I always assume, you know, you got the training has to be there.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, the training is always usually the most enjoyable part and the easiest part. So the hardest part is the eating. The drugs aren't hard if you add it, because how hard it is it to real, unless you're a pussy, to give yourself a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, the hardest part is definitely the eating, but you will get results, and that's all you need to do is in that range, and you will get results. And then there's a right way, and people don't always do the right way. If you're older and you have low T, you may start on a dose that is considered a TRT dose, just to get your levels up to
Normal,
At
quote
least
unquote.
but normal range. For me, I prefer to get clients to an optimal, like the high end of the normal range.
Yeah.
So if somebody does that and then they do a cycle and increase the dosage to the 400 or 500 a week for 15 weeks, when they're done, they're just going to go back to the TRT dose.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to need it because TRT's for life. But somebody who's younger, okay, you're not going to probably do TRT. You're going to come completely off when you're done with your cycle. So you have to do a proper post-cycle therapy, which is you don't have low T. Maybe your testosterone, total testosterone level is in the 700-800 range. And so you just want to get that back working again. And you want to get that working as fast as you can after you're done, basically, because it's going to help you keep the gains, at least more of the gains that you got while you were on.
Yeah.
And when people talk about people shrinking or, oh, once you get off, you're going to shrink. Well, then you just did it wrong. Okay. You just did it wrong. There's a proper way to do this and a more healthy way to do it. And if people want to argue about the health and stuff, you can argue with me all day long. It's a personal choice. The greater risk, and again, the person was somebody that was running their mouth in the Facebook group, is 50 pounds overweight by his own admission. So you don't slam other people doing testosterone that have, somebody, and it was somebody's post that had lost 100 pounds, who's healthier now, who's eating better, who has more muscle, and doing all of these, has all these other factors that are being positive. Just because he's taking testosterone doesn't mean he's like more unhealthy than you. That's just not the case. In fact, it's usually the opposite, because people who are taking it really don't want to waste it. They want to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So they're going to be maybe a little bit inspired by that fact, that they're going to be, or motivated to eat better and to be more consistent with their training, to be more disciplined with the training and getting in there, because they want the results. And, once you start seeing it, like I need to send it to you here at some point. In fact, I should do that now, because this, while we were waiting for coffee at church, they have a nice little coffee thing at
like
church.
a coffee shop?
They were slow as fuck today. Though. It was like 20 minutes to get a motherfucking coffee. It was ridiculous.
And that church is like, there's a few hundred people there, no? Like,
few hundred?
Like because I know the place is big, but I'm not sure quite, because it's like an auditorium-sized church, isn't it?
We probably fit, I don't know, 500, 1,000 in there,
Yeah,
like
that's
2 or 3 times on a Sunday.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, no, it's
imagine working at that coffee shop in the morning.
Yeah, well, still. But one of my clients, and he's been doing this for a minute, he sent me a picture that as of today, he was down 105 pounds, and he started in July of 23.
Okay.
And so I'm going to send it to you so you can put it up, because it's like, wow. Just his results. And he's been steadily sending me stuff since we've been working together, over the last year and a half. I just didn't remember what the month was off the top of my head when he had done it. So I had asked him and he told me, but wow, man, like and so much better, so much healthier. And, with his kids and coaches and stuff too. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Because you see, there's a bunch of, stupid, almost fake shit out there that people post, trying to get clients and stuff. And you never see me do that. I never pull that shit. So I don't do that. So, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's not only lost weight, but he has muscle definition as well. Like, obviously, like in the ab area and stuff like that, you can see that there's.
Now.
Same shorts, too. That's crazy.
He does take testosterone. Now, you tell me, Which one of those two?
Is
Like,
more healthy.
no, I will say this. I get it. People say, just because you have a good physique does not mean you're healthy, or
I
just
agree.
because you're skinny, you're not.
I agree.
But seriously, tell me again. Tell me which one of these two is more healthy.
Healthier, yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, is it not obvious?
I mean, maybe not to everyone, but it's pretty obvious to me.
It's pretty obvious.
No, but this even goes back.
Isn't
to
that and I just love this one because he's a really good guy too.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'd love to have them come into town, him and his wife, and hang out. Or if I can ever get to him in Texas, I will, because I love having clients all across the country.
Yeah.
I love meeting my clients and
yeah.
stuff when they sometimes
That'd
come
be
through the area and
that'd be
stuff.
kind of
It's
interesting.
fun.
Go around the country and interview some of your clients.
At some point, that would be cool to
That'd be really
do,
cool.
and maybe if we get this
Going
this
a little
part
bit,
generating us money.
That'd be some pretty
If
cool.
YouTube sends me some money, because you motherfuckers hit that subscribe button, all right, and we do something, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because at least right now, I don't, whatever money we would ever start earning for YouTube from YouTube, I wouldn't need.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I live a very, very good life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I like money, so don't get me wrong.
No,
I
I
want
get
the
that.
money. I get it. But you know what I would do with it? I would reinvest it in the show and doing other things and doing maybe more travel, or right now, we're not traveling anywhere to interview somebody where we would do that, or even instead of doing it by video, which is absolutely okay.
Yeah.
A lot of the big ones do it, but bringing someone in.
I guess that is also another option, huh? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. No,
Or, eventually we're going to have another location. This is
little
in
more
the
space.
house, and it's cool.
Oh yeah.
It looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see, well, you can't show it to the people, and I don't want to get up and grab it, but you can see it up there yourself. You see the little Jordan thing that Dawn
the
got
pop
me?
art?
Yeah.
That's dope.
The pop art.
I
Yeah,
didn't see
she
that.
got me that. She got me that for Valentine's Day.
That's dope. I like that.
But it fits in the whole shit I have up here. It's, it's cool.
No, I wish we could fit more of that in there. I'll be honest with you.
Because it does look pretty cool.
Your setup is really cool. This office is considered an office. This office area is
well,
really nice.
it was, but since we leave everything out now,
It's a podcast room. Oh yeah.
and I love this couch that we have here,
Supports our lights very well.
but I probably, as we're selling stuff now,
Okay.
Dawn has been selling stuff
Okay.
on the Facebook Marketplace.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And some furniture and stuff
Okay.
that antique stuff that I bought that I was going to refinish because I was going to get into doing that and paint stuff,
Gotcha.
and haven't because I don't have the time. Like I'm just an idiot, and I get these ideas, and
Hey, I get you, man. I'm the same
so
way. Every other
like
week, you got a new thing.
as I get more room, I could see wrapping this up and putting this in, because I don't think I would sell this. I like this piece.
It's a nice couch. I'll tell you that.
And putting it into storage and creating more room for us in here, which is probably what I should do now in the next month.
It would
There's a
be
good
nice.
chance.
I'm not gonna lie. It would be nice.
Yeah. I get it. And based on where we're at now, I probably should just fucking do it,
But before we get even more
Yes.
distracted, let's get back to the bodybuilding, because
So, yeah,
we
this
took a
is-
left turn and we didn't turn back.
Yes. You telling me you want me to weave back? You want me to do a Trump weave?
We were talking about the
So-
lighing and how that plays a big impact on the bodybuilding and pictures.
Well,
and
sure
stuff
it
like that.
does. Well, everything. It's just the whole illusion.
And-
I
I was
was
gonna
trying
bring
to
up
point out.
That's like one of the big reasons why they cover themselves in like the I'm not sure if it's like oil or like
the crazy tanning.
yeah, the tanning and stuff like that. Like that's another reason why
Tanning
they do
is
that, right?
huge.
So I don't know.
I didn't really do any oil. Really,
I'm not sure.
saying that's not done, but when I did it, I created a base myself. Some people don't do that. Some people just go in white and just do the spray tan, and you usually tan twice. Like you pay somebody, usually the competition will have somebody there, or you have to bring somebody there to do it for
Really?
you.
Okay.
Where, but I like to have a base tan that I do myself. And then I also use a peptide called melanotan 2
Okay.
that also like
Darkens your skin?
tans. Yes.
Really?
Look up melanotan 2. Yes. It's a great peptide. They call it the Barbie drug. Yeah, there's melatonin, there's melanotan 2. But you'll see it causes the pigmentation. It also has some other
Huh.
okay.
That is interesting. I didn't know there was peptides to change the pigmentation of your skin, but now I know.
Yes. And if you take that and go to a tanning booth,
it just sticks
the effects,
color.
It's faster even. It works even faster, but you can do it just by this.
Huh.
And so I've used it, and I tan pretty easily anyways, but I've used this product. And the reason they call it the Barbie drug is, as you see there in the side effects, one of the side effects is potentially, like curbing your appetite.
Okay.
So for Barbie,
to get
thinner because you're
okay.
curbing your appetite,
Gotcha.
You're getting tan. And then for both men and women, and here it talks about men, your morning wood, it's not just spontaneous erection 1 to 5 hours after. No, it's like your morning wood is likely to be more regular and more, and you're gonna, wake up with a kickstand.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I love
You know
that.
what I mean? And for women,
Uh-huh.
it can increase their libido.
Gotcha. Okay.
And for a woman that doesn't need that,
it's
and
spikes.
then they do it, it's like they are off the fucking hook, man. They're like off the hook.
That's funny.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's been around for a long, long time.
Okay.
For a pretty long time. So
that's interesting because I've seen one Chris Bumpson video where he was competing, and in the morning he had to go get the tan, and then like later when the actual competition was going around. But the one thing I did notice is, or at least from these pictures we were looking at from Arnold, did they change the tanning kind of different over the years, or is that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
like slight
more,
differences and stuff like that.
Darker even.
That was my question. It seems like it's darker now than it was.
Oh, for sure. Because again, like the lights and everything, washing people out, and you want to be able to see the definition of the muscle and make a better comparison between the competitors. So absolutely. So that's a big part of it. But I like to have a base, and then I would got the spray tan on top of it. And I used to have a funny ass motherfucking video that got deleted because my TikTok account got banned, so I lost the video. But I had a funny video that when they're tanning you, you can do it a couple different ways, in how you cover up.
Okay.
But you're basically naked.
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't want this spray stuff all on your dick. So they basically give you a dick sock. Well, what is a dick sock?
That's cool.
A dick sock is like a small footy for like a kid or a woman, or like not. I mean, I guess if you got a huge cock, you can get a bigger dick sock, but
Yeah. You get some knee socks going on.
Yeah, well, something like that. But I did this whole video about this dick sock.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
You don't have it somewhere in the
No,
library?
I don't think so. I don't know.
That would have been funny.
It is. It is absolutely funny. And it's true, because that's the little things that people don't get to see, that they don't know about the competitors and what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, but my whole point of bringing that all up was angles and stuff matter,
100%.
and making you look bigger or smaller. And, sometimes in some of my pictures, nothing in my pictures, or for the most part, although I was able to do it one time, I was able to do a picture from an angle that made my calves look bigger. Okay. But pretty much my calves are what they are, and I hammer them all the time. and my calves are not representative of my legs.
Oh yeah, I mean the calves
And
it's a hard muscle to
yeah,
get on camera properly,
it's
anyways.
genetics, man. It's so the percentage that is your genetics when it comes to that particular muscle.
It's
I don't know why I think I don't know why it seems to be higher or that genetics represents a higher percentage of what the results are.
oh yeah,
But
oh yeah,
out of all the different muscles, that's it. And but my legs overall, it's really weird.
mhm,
Okay. So it has me rethinking training, right? Because I hurt my knee, like in July is when I think
yeah. It
the
would have been
tendon above my
in June
knee,
actually. Yeah,
yeah, June or
yeah.
July, the tendon above that attaches my quad to my knee partially tore.
Mhm.
And so in the rehab of that, and even today, I am not lifting heavy with my legs,
Mhm.
but I changed the way in which, like my feet placement
Yeah. I
and
mean,
stuff.
that's actually huge for people
My
that don't
feet
actually know.
placement is pretty much my heels together, toes slightly turned out now. And if I'm doing a leg press, my feet are at the bottom,
Okay.
not at the middle or top like you see a lot of people do.
Yeah.
That you need to put your feet there, especially if you're doing a lot of weight.
Mhm.
But doing a lot of weight didn't always get the results. Or like when, in my mid 20s, early 20s, when I started working out after, because after high school for a number of years, I really didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then I got heavy,
Mhm.
I put on weight. And when I got married, I had a little chubbiness to me. And I looked at the wedding picture. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy was an athlete. This guy played sports year round. You change sports. That's how we did it back then. We had a fall sport, we had a winter sport, we had a spring sport.
Just constantly being active. No, I get that.
Constantly being active. And so I got into the gym and got into shape, and I did all the basics. I barbell squat, barbell bench, deadlifts, all the basic shit.
Yeah.
And we didn't have access to all the information we have now.
Mhm.
We got that shit from magazines and stuff and from books we got it from. We didn't have videos of, professionals telling us this is what they did. We had it in magazines, and then they were lying to us, telling us that they're taking this product, that was just over-the-counter bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And doing that, like I got, even at 100 and let's say 80 pounds, okay, I squatted 365,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But I never got
Like huge
got
legs, yeah.
bigger legs. You know what I mean? Doing all that stuff. I actually now it's crazy if you would see what I'm doing, and I have more of a sweep on the outside now than I've had at probably any time in my life. And just general oversize. My legs are at least as big as they've ever been.
Okay.
I might have had them this big before, but they're as big as they've ever been. And filling out my pants and just tightness, like I don't have tiny legs. I don't have huge legs.
Yeah.
I don't have,
Tree
the
trunks
type of
is what we'd
legs
refer
that
to.
people do that, compete in the open or even in classic physique.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't compete in classic physique. I was going to, but I went to physique is because everything got bigger in the sport of bodybuilding. And physique is the newest class for men that's probably been around, I don't know, 10, 12 years now, however long it's been around.
Yeah.
But it started as a class that was for almost more guys that look like models.
Okay. Yeah.
Or athletes.
Yeah.
Ripped
bit.
athletes, ripped models. That was it. And now, if you would compare, if we pulled up, and compared when physique first started to the physique guys today,
Much different.
yeah, the physique guys look like the classic physique guys used to look. And the classic physique guys look like the bodybuilders, as I was suggesting with Chris Bumstead, of the 70s and early
Gotcha.
80s,
So the
but
standards have changed.
huge, because the standard is big. That's the standard now. Like every class is like literally big.
So now it's more about size than it is the actual physique itself. Like
A lot of us think so, and what do you want to do? What's going to attract people to the sport? There are people that would like to grow the sport.
yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it's I don't know if that'll ever happen. It's very, very tough, because I think that's why it would be interesting. Like Chris got second, like I said, in the Open,
Yeah.
after he had just won the Olympia.
Like 5 times back to back. Yeah.
6. And if he had, let's just say he didn't add any size, he competed just that way. I've asked people who run shows, who I think it was probably Dave Lieberman who has
Coach
does those shows. Dave used to compete, and Dave has shows, that the NPC shows that he puts on. I think he does a couple a year, but he goes to the Olympia every year and I asked him what he thought, and he told me that, I don't know, I don't think it was this past year, 24, so it's probably 23 when I messaged, or maybe we were just communicating just on Facebook or Instagram or something, back and forth, and he thought the way he looked, he could probably get 5th.
Oh wow.
Just the way he was,
Yeah,
not
just
trying to
just
add
walking
on, give
around,
it, just him, as good as he was in the classic physique. If he had just entered a different class. And again, it's, what is it about? The judges decide that, or over time, how has it changed? I don't know. It'd be interesting to talk to them, some of the people that have been around the sport as long as Dave has been, and find out. And Ron Harris is another one. Ron Harris, I follow him and have gone back and forth with him a little bit. Bodybuilder. Yeah. And he used to write for one of the big magazines for years and years and years. And now he just has his own thing. But yeah, like that's where we got our information from, was
like
from people like him, from writers, from the magazine, because we didn't have the social media and stuff that we have now. But to ask him, what caused that, and I don't know if bodybuilding really knows where it's going right now. Like I said, Chris Bumstead definitely has made an impression the last 8 years.
Oh, if it wasn't for Chris, I definitely wouldn't have as much knowledge in the bodybuilding area than I do.
Because not only has he, I think he has helped bring younger men to the gym.
Oh yeah.
He has set a new style, and bringing the mustache back.
Oh yeah, got a mustache.
I credit him as much as anybody
to bringing the mustache back?
To young guys having mustaches again. Because when I was young, I did have a mustache.
Oh yeah,
for a number of years.
Yeah, mine never comes off. Gotta stay on there.
Yeah, I definitely credit him, with the mustache, bringing the popularity of it back.
Bringing it back, yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, I'm not a fan of it, myself, but I like wearing what I'm wearing now. I like the fit,
the tighter shirts. Yeah.
A little bit around the arms. I don't want it
around
to be
the torso.
Too loose here either. But I'm not a fan of the big T-shirts.
That's fair.
The younger guys, they wear the bigger T-shirts like that. And who wears the bigger T-shirts? Chris Bumstead.
Yeah, no, I definitely lean a little bit more towards the loose shirts just because
Yeah,
I get a lot of chafing under the armpits and stuff like that with tight shirts. So I like the loose shirts. Makes my day to
yeah.
day basis
But
a little easier.
he definitely has the biggest impression. People know him the
Easily.
most. Your average person, if you would ask somebody to name somebody associated with bodybuilding,
Arnold, it's pretty much the only person.
besides like going back,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like current. Say somebody current,
Chris is probably the only person
well,
to a casual at least like me.
or Sam Sulek.
Sam Sulek, you are right.
Yeah.
But he is a little bit newer than Chris.
He's newer than Chris.
Yes.
But the
Influence-wise.
most recent winner of the Olympia is Samson Duda, and how many people are going to name him? Just average people that like don't really follow it. But people that don't really follow bodybuilding, some but let's say they at least work out.
Yeah.
They'll probably they're either going to name Chris or Sam.
Gotcha.
They're going to be able to name one of those two. That's kind of where it's at in like the face of it. And what is it going to be, you know, in the future? You know, would the sport do better? Would it attract more people if the top class was really a class that looked more like Chris Bumstead than the like pull up Samson Duda and them like so we can.
What was the last name? Sorry.
Duda. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to look. He's, and I have nothing but respect for what he built, but the dude is massive and he's big. Like it's harder. I mean, for guys, like I don't know how tall he is, but I always thought size-wise, it is a little bit easier for some of the other ones to be able to do that are shorter, smaller. You know, a lot of the you know, Ronnie Coleman has some height to him. Yeah, look at that picture. Look at how much bigger he is than the two next to him.
Oh, so there is no height minimum or
there is
maximum?
In some classes.
Gotcha.
But this is the open. This is the open. This just means like it does not motherfucking matter. You know what I mean? Like it's just about size. But to be his height, and those guys next to him are probably 5'8" and 5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the dude is just massive. And he puts together a very good, massive package. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, things kind of match. It's not like, you know, his legs are so much bigger than his upper. I'm not saying there's no symmetry there, but I think as far as aesthetic to most people out there, like Chris just looks great.
I mean, there's a reason everyone's been gravitating towards, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like one of, if not the most popular bodybuilder out there, is he not?
I think he's
like at this point in time, like he's definitely
he's
like
the most popular. So for Samson, he's like I said, he's huge. He has a great physique, but he's just not. How do I want to say it? Because I don't mean this in a negative way. It's just he's not as well known.
Oh yeah.
Outside of the bodybuilding community.
Yeah.
And because like I said, it's a niche sport, and the work that it is not easy being a bodybuilding competitor or what these guys do to train to be able to go on stage, because at that level, a lot of times they're only competing once to twice a year.
Yeah.
they're competing either in the Olympia only
Mhm.
or they're competing in the Olympia and the Arnold.
Okay.
Because
The
the
more popular
Arnold,
ones.
well, those are the two biggest,
Yeah.
period. I mean, the Arnold is almost every bit as big as the Olympia
Oh, yeah.
with what they put on
yeah.
and, everything around it. I mean, they have MMA fighting. They have,
Really?
yeah,
That I did not know.
they have all kinds of lifting competitions, power lifting. They have so much going on.
Than just
The
bodybuilding?
Arnold, yeah.
Huh, okay.
And I don't know how the European one, there's a European version too, but it's, it's big.
Gotcha.
It's big. But Sam Sulek, I'm on social media. That's how I know Sam. But Sam hadn't competed, but he's a young guy, very young. And so it was controversial, I think, about taking PEDs at a young age.
Mhm.
And he took a lot of criticism, for his diet and how he would eat sometimes
Okay.
and different things. And there was always this, how would he do if he ever stepped on stage
Okay.
kind of a thing. And he finally has.
Okay.
Finally stepped on stage, and it was this weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a big deal, and I think it's pretty fair as some people kind of reviewed things that he didn't have a lot to gain,
Mhm. I mean, from
but
what
he had more to lose than to gain. Like if he didn't do well,
yeah.
what would it do to his social media and
His
that kind of
reputation,
his
yeah.
reputation and things like that? And some people are just jealous that somebody who has never competed
Mhm.
is making a shit ton of money on social media. And well, I'm a real IFBB pro and I really do this and I don't get the money. Yeah, well, okay.
Sometimes it's
That's just the
about luck.
way it is, man. People just like it's no different than these idiots that assume that I'm a liberal because I don't bash uh, um, Taylor Swift.
You're a liberal because you don't
Yep.
bash Taylor
Because
Swift.
Trump does. Trump
Mm.
does. And so a lot of conservatives or MAGA people don't like Taylor Swift. And some people just like, I don't like her music. Oh, she's not worth that money and stuff. And you know how I am.
Yeah.
You know to me that, yes, I'm not into her music. I'm not into her politics.
Mhm.
I don't get upset about how many times she's shown
On the NFL, yeah.
3 or 4 times for 5 seconds during an NFL game. I don't get upset about it. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for business.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And this one idiot that I was going back and forth with, he said that she's only big because of her manager and publicist. Her manager and publicist are not worth $1 billion. If they had that ability to be able to turn people into billionaires like that,
They would
they'd
have
be able to do
multiple
it more
people.
with one, and they would also be worth $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
So to take that away, that's the one thing I just like. Because of politics, like I said, sometimes it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Even for me, it's hard to separate people from their politics. And especially if they're over the top lunatics and assholes, it is hard for me to do that. I haven't really seen her does that. I don't really care that she endorsed Biden and then Kamala Harris. I don't. She didn't do
Not out here preaching
Serena
and stuff
or
like Serena Williams?
no, Gomez.
Oh,
Selena.
Gomez.
I said Serena.
Okay.
Selena Gomez. She hasn't done a Selena Gomez.
No.
Even.
No.
And she's worth $1 billion. And what did I say about that? Whatever I think about her, she does do something right. There is something to learn there.
There's something, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
she's worth
whole
billions.
the economy has changed, and I'm older,
Mhm.
but I'm still like I'm not willing to bury myself in the past and not take advantage of what the future is. And I'm not looking to retire. 56, I'm not looking to retire in 4 years. Even 10 years, I'm not looking to retire. I want to make money, more money. I enjoy making money and spending money.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy.
No, I get that.
And I want to pretty much do that till I fucking die. You know, so when I'm 95, I want to still, it's no different. I think I mentioned to you one time that the owner of the big furniture store out here,
Yeah.
that he's in his
The
early
same owner,
90s,
yeah.
and I met him, and that guy still goes into stores that he owns in his early 90s checking things out. And he, you know, attributed his longevity to walking every day, couple miles every day. That's fantastic, man. That's like, that's living. That's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I can't, I don't know. I don't understand. My dad has a friend. My dad was telling me yesterday when I was talking to him on the phone, he's got a friend that, you know, has a good pension, like, good middle class, upper middle class retirement. You
Okay.
know, he was a state highway patrol officer. They had a good pension
Yeah.
and some other things. But like he's got a flip phone that barely works. He doesn't text people, like, you know, and he's like my dad. They're in their early 80s and
Okay.
stuff. And my dad don't text. When my dad wants to send me a text now, his girlfriend sends it to me. But he could do it because she can do, if she can do it, they're the same motherfucking age. Okay. He's got a bad foot. My
Not
dad
bad
has a
hands.
bad foot. He could text if he wanted to, even with fat fucking fingers.
Yeah.
Okay. He could figure out a way.
Oh yeah.
All right. But it just doesn't happen. And I love him to death. But like, that's just not me, man.
Mhm.
It's just,
No, I get that.
it's just not. But anyways, back to Sam and his people are jealous of the young kid.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's all envy.
Yeah. Where like, I don't know. It's harder for them to pick apart his training. And now, you know, he actually, like I said, the risk was on him. The risk was him taking this. And I think that's huge. It says everything in the world about him, that he had more to lose than to gain, but stepped on stage anyways. And this was in Vegas.
Vegas. That's pretty dope.
Yep. NPC Legends. And in his first competition, he won the overall classic physique. That is not easy to do
The first try.
for anyone. It's just not something that's easy to do. And you have these people that'll, you know, again, on his social media that will say, well, you know, they're always going to be dumb shit said about the drugs. Okay. And here's the thing is you can't, you could take the people saying that could take all the drugs in the world and not look like him.
Oh yeah.
It's
You still got to put the effort in.
you got to do the work, you got to do the diet, and you have to have the genetics. It's a whole package being put together. And to dial it in, the hardest thing to do is there are guys that the difference between, say, first and fourth place sometimes
Mhm.
can be that somebody fucked up on their hydration in the last 40 hours versus a guy who didn't, and how that looks on stage. And there are, you know, people that are in bodybuilding that follow this kind of
Understand.
stuff.
Yeah.
We've all seen where someone has looked better the day before than they did the day of on stage.
Yeah.
You know, and just look at the size comparison.
This guy, he's ripped.
But
Don't
that
get me
guy
wrong,
is
but
ripped.
you can tell that he's a lot smaller. He's
But
ripped.
he's ripped,
Yeah.
and that's how much that matters. And so it's not just what he did, it's for him. And I don't know who has helped him. I haven't looked into it as far as coaching and for diet and stuff to do this. But whatever help he got, whatever, doesn't matter. For him to do this and step on stage and to be that dialed in his first time and to get it right, and because there's a weight limit, there's no weight limit for the open. You could be 250 going against some guy who's 270. In classic physique, amateur, I believe the maximum is 217.
Huh.
And he
Okay.
weighed in at 216. So to come in at the highest end, do you see what I'm saying? To do all that and to dial it in specifically to be the best that you can be on a specific day, there's an art to that shit, man. It's
Yeah.
And so he knows some shit. And I can say this, sometimes some of the bodybuilders have the physiques. They don't always have the knowledge. They do what their coaches say to do.
I was about to say, that's why they have coaches.
That's why they have coaches.
Because they don't fully understand it.
They know something about the drugs and how they reacted on certain ones, but really, they're not necessarily experts on it just because they're big, because that's what people think.
Yeah.
Your ordinary public out there thinks, well, this person must know the most about steroids because he's big. That's not it.
No.
There's a lot of people bigger than me that don't know half the shit that I motherfucking know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But again, we all have different goals, and to compare it to being able to do this is just silly.
Yeah.
What people don't know about me is I'm pretty much meeting my goals at my age and what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like to compete one more
I would
time.
love to see that.
Yeah.
I would love to see
I would
that.
love to do that. Right now I still have a struggle with my knee.
Yep.
And my MRI just got canceled because my insurance hasn't approved it yet.
Gotta love insurance.
So I was supposed to get an MRI Tuesday on my knee, and now I don't get to have it. And, I had double hernia surgery, and I'm still having hernia issues.
Yeah.
So either I have a third one. Well, I kind of had a third one, but in a different place, or the mesh ripped, and this is supposed to be the best mesh that they put in there. I don't know, dude. I just know it sucks. And that when I was training for the show that I did, training around that was hard. That you'd prefer not. It's easier to train when you don't have
Injuries?
certain injuries.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But lots of guys have done it. There are guys that have tore things and stuff, 6 weeks out from a show and still made it happen. And, it's just what it is. It's just part of the whole thing. But I think this is awesome for him. I think it's awesome for the sport. And absolutely, I heard Greg Doucette talk about this, who is an IFBB pro and has the worst god-awful voice in the world. But if you can get past that and listen to him, he did a little video on Sam. And I guess when they told him that when he went, that he wasn't going to be able to have his camera people on the day of the show, which is like, do you want your show to get bigger? Do you want to have the most popular amateur show of the fucking year?
Then you need publicity.
Okay. You're getting free publicity here that you couldn't pay for because you got somebody who people who are not,
Aware of.
Aware of. Well, you have somebody that people who aren't into bodybuilding, but they're aware of him.
Exactly.
That are going to be interested in this. And see, there you have him with Jay Cutler. That's a picture of Jay. That's Jay Cutler behind him.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Is
So,
this like just a room for posing, I assume, because there's like a top light?
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would definitely be doing that. And there's a lot to do that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There was always that question too. What would his legs look like? Because you know how people
Fucking
are, dude.
massive. Jesus Christ.
But as big as that is, compare that to the open guys.
Oh,
The
yeah,
open guys
they're
are like,
ridiculous.
yeah,
It looks abnormal, honestly. Like, it just like
it is abnormal.
Yeah, it's huge.
And they have to do abnormal things to get there.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, look, this is a great physique and much more closer
To a normal person.
Yeah, I think much more closer to Chris Bumstead.
Okay.
And I think classic physique is becoming
More popular.
Okay. than the
Than
open.
just being big.
And because of Chris Bumstead. And this is the Arnold look. This is the Chris Bumstead look. And that's Sam Sulek brought that to the stage.
I mean, in my opinion, this is what physique looks best, right? Like, it's not out of reach of what a normal human person can get to, right? Obviously, there's
with
with
drugs,
and
yes,
stuff like
but
that.
Still, yes.
But this is more of like a closer to normal than not.
It doesn't look like a mutant ninja turtle.
Exactly.
And I don't mean any disrespect by that, you know. But they look.
It's more
the open is so big, and the competitors are so big, they look like cartoon caricatures.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just absolutely, and it's amazing that they can do that. And like I said, much respect. But I think this would make everybody more money and be a little bit healthier.
A lot healthier, in my opinion.
Well,
I don't know too much, but
right. But you know, not to the super extremes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The super extremes. And I'm sure, you know, that can happen too. Just individuals are going to do what individuals are going to do.
Oh yeah.
But you want to do it like this is just phenomenal, and good for him in doing this. And
it looks different with the hat on. I will have to say that the haircut needs a little bit of work.
The haircut. Well, but he had the big crazy hair. So
yeah,
this
long
looks
hair and stuff
different
like that,
too.
yeah.
Like I just, wow.
No, that's impressive. That really is impressive.
So that's what I got for bodybuilding and stuff today, and that's good. Like we didn't even get to, but we will before we're done here. We will get to a little bit of politics because so much has been going on. So yesterday, the time passed for the hostages to be released by Hamas.
Okay, one more time, sorry. What passed?
Trump set a noon deadline for Hamas because there was a dispute. They've had an agreement.
Okay.
And Hamas has been dripping out hostages 3 or 4 at a time.
Okay.
And then in return for these 80 or 100 total hostages, these 80 or 100 hostages of innocent people versus these criminals, rapists and murderers that we've held that we were releasing back to them.
Okay.
And both sides felt the other side was reneging on their deal. And Trump during the week basically said, it's not my final decision, but, I'll support Israel. And basically, if they don't stop fucking around and release all of the hostages, and they have a couple of ours, they have a couple American citizens yet. If they don't release them by noon on Saturday, then they should prepare for all hell.
So yesterday.
To be released. Yesterday.
Gotcha.
All hell to break loose. And Marco Rubio is meeting with I was gonna sneeze
another one
again. Marco Rubio was meeting with Netanyahu. They had a little joint press conference.
Okay.
And there's not Trump didn't mean that at 12:01 or 12:05 that, they were going to start bombing them again or something. But I think at this point, they're not going to tell them when, but if they don't make something happen soon, we should all be prepared for this. that there is going to be a not uh, th- they are not going to have a place to hide. I don't know
That's a
how
nice
else
way
to
to put
put
it.
it. Yeah, they are not going to have a place to hide. That they are coming for them, and they should. We don't even know how many are even really alive today, and they do have some bodies of ones that were killed, and those families would like those bodies back too. That was supposed to be a part of it. So we'll see what happens, but certainly a big deal. And then we had there's a lot of things going on. You have JD Vance over there and others talking to Germany and leaders in Europe,
Uh-huh.
and said some things they weren't very happy about.
JD Vance said some things.
Yeah, JD Vance, his speech to Germany was a great speech in my mind. I listened to it. It was very presidential. It was very matter of fact, and just talking about, he didn't talk a lot about the Russia-Ukraine war. He talked more about Europe and the lack of free speech, and their response to his speech basically tells you all you need to know. Like, they're restricting speech, from other parties.
Okay.
And, they've put people in jail over there for the
dumbest things, yeah.
the craziest shit posted on,
Just on the internet, just on
and
social medias or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about, like, I think JD Vance brought up there was one guy that was put in jail who was a certain distance, like 50 feet or so away from an abortion clinic,
I think I heard about that.
and was praying, silently praying, and they arrested him because of his answer to what he was praying about. Come on, man. That's nuts. In what was supposed to be a democratic society, like, you would, I don't even know if that would happen in China, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that just sounds like crazy stuff. But look, he said it, that there's a new sheriff in town. We know that there's a new sheriff, and things are being done differently. And you have some people that agree with it and some don't. Because just like here in this country, some of those people have benefited, and it's not the citizens of the country. And that's not what this is about anymore. I don't understand why. I mean, even more than Trump, think about this. Elon Musk, what does he have to gain, seriously?
Trump or Elon?
Elon.
Okay.
What does he have to gain by doing what he's doing for the country now?
More money and power.
More money and power. Really? Then what? He's the richest man in the world already.
Yeah, but when you have power, you're able to use your money in a lot different ways.
He doesn't already have that? He didn't already get that? But okay, but he didn't already get that by whatever help he gave to Trump already to get elected?
Yeah, but there's one thing to help someone in power and then be put into power by someone.
But he's put into power how? Like, I don't get
Like
what are you getting at? Because I don't
like he has a higher presence in like society now. Like he is known to be like he's no longer just the Tesla guy. He's in charge of like the whole the Doge thing and stuff like that. Like there's a like I get what you're saying, but he definitely has a lot more power than he used to. That is for sure. Maybe before he had power more like behind a curtain and stuff like that, like handing out cash in certain ways or whatever. But now he's the front face of the Doge and like.
But what is he doing with it?
That I cannot answer for you because
okay,
I do not know.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. With what he's doing, he doesn't need this mess.
No, he doesn't need it.
He doesn't need this.
But he has it.
Thank God he has it.
we don't know that part yet, but for sure.
I think so.
But for sure. I get what you're saying. I think he's a smart dude, and I think, but because he's so smart, that also allows certain, like, because he's like, we know it, right? He's very not very professional, right? He's very I guess you know how, because we were talking about how like he's autistic and stuff like that, so he has a different
He just
way
is,
of
but
thinking.
yeah, but he's just is who he is. He's just
100%.
being that. He's just being that, and
100%.
Trump does that too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah,
we
yeah.
identify with Trump.
Yeah, but
You know, the left tries to yell in a certain way or use a certain language, and it's just not working for them. Like, you just can't. Everybody cannot insult people and get the results that Trump gets, because it's not based on the insult. It's really based on, like, he's the same person that he has always been. When you talk about free trade and tariffs,
Mhm.
you can go all the way back to the late 80s
Mhm.
and find video of him talking about
the same thing.
how the US is getting fucked over in trade by other countries.
Yeah.
And free trade should also mean fair trade. Free trade should not mean that you get to send anything to this country without tariffs, but you get to apply tariffs to our product coming into your country.
Yeah.
And all he's doing is now, he's coming out with basically matching tariffs. Evaluate each country, whatever they're doing to us. He talks about reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
And it just means whatever they're doing to us, we're doing to them. Now, if you don't want that, all you have to do is eliminate it, and we'll eliminate it. We can have true, free, and fair trade. And he's just making it happen instead of just talking about it.
Yeah.
And by doing it, he's applying the pressure instead of letting them continue to fuck us while we talk about it.
Yeah.
No, he's like, no, we're going to apply some pressure right now so you know what it fucking feels like, and then we can do it.
Mhm.
Because as much as people would like to think that Trump's net worth, I believe, I could be wrong, but during his first term, his net worth went down. It didn't go up.
Really?
So, like, yeah, the presidency didn't enable him like it did other people. Like his net worth, yeah. Now has gone back up because of the Truth Social. But yeah, look at how it dropped while he was president, from $4.5 billion to 2.1.
And now he's at 5.7.
And that a lot of that has to do with the Truth Social, increase in the Truth Social too. But that was 2024. He just got elected.
Yeah.
It wasn't a result
as of April 1st.
Right. It wasn't. Yeah, that's not a result of him being elected or like getting. They bitched about because he had the one hotel in Washington D.C. that he owned.
Mhm.
That somehow he should have to get rid of it because people from other countries would come there and get a hotel room, and he's making money because they're staying in his hotel. How much is he? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get
That's
what you're
just
saying,
so stupid shit. And nobody is required. If somebody is, let's say they're worth $6 million in Iowa, and they're a farmer. They own a farm in Iowa, and their net worth is $6 million.
Yeah.
And they get into politics and become a representative in Iowa.
Okay.
They become a congressman in Washington, D.C., representing an Iowa district.
Mhm.
Should they have to sell their farm? They're only going to be, no, they might only be a representative for 2 years, or it might be 10 years.
Yeah.
But you can't tell them look, I get different things that are conflict of interest and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
that's a
like
different thing.
truly
Yeah.
a conflict. But, who else is going to know? He's there to represent the interests of Iowa, and farming
a big part of it.
still a huge part of Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are you going to ask about the issues that farmers face in Iowa
Other
if
than
you
the
don't
farmer.
ask an Iowa farmer?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that's definitely a thing. The only thing they have on Trump now is doing the lawsuits, and some of the lawsuits are being where they're putting temporary blocks on things that they're doing.
Yeah.
And in other cases, those temporary blocks have been lifted. So Trump is getting some wins in that regard. And in other areas, there's a little bit of a delay. I guess there was a small group that had to do with nuclear weapons that had been fired, and they needed to bring some of them back. The average American has no clue of what it takes to reorganize a company, or where you have a company that's failing and the type of CEO that you bring in. There are different types of CEOs. There are CEOs that are literally paid millions of dollars to come in and reorganize the company and cut it down, cut the number of employees to be, to take a chainsaw to the company a little bit to make it profitable again and to build it back up.
Yeah.
And he did that with X. There were some people that when he took over X that he fired, that he had to bring back.
Yeah.
That, I really do need them, And there's no way to do it perfectly without that happening. There's just not.
No, yeah.
And so, they are getting some criticism in that regard. But if you really understand what's going on or how that happens in a company, that's what happens. You're going to cut some people you didn't want to cut, and you got to bring them back. And either you're going to bring back the people that were doing it, or you'll bring back a replacement and fill that job
position,
to see what's necessary and what's not. But think about it. I believe that the cuts to X, that there's probably less than half of the employees there that were there when he took over. Total number. Not just people were.
Yeah.
Right. That the total number is at least down by over half. And it needed to do that, or the company was going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And some people decided for a minute that they weren't going to advertise on X, and they didn't. And, he made sure they were lean and mean during that process. And now many of those companies are coming back because free speech is actually a thing.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But yeah, I definitely, the people that voted for Trump did vote for this. I talked to my dad. My dad is not as political as me, but when we talk about this kind of stuff, he gets fired up about it. It was funny talking to him yesterday, and they have a group of older people, because I'm old, but he's
older.
He's older. That they get together and have dinner once a week or whatever, a group of them, and they'll talk about this kind of stuff as well. That literally, we've been waiting almost our whole lives for this, and Bill Clinton was going to do this. Al Gore was supposed to be in charge of this, where they were going to do massive cuts. People say, well, see, the thing with the Democrats now is they say, yeah, we're for government efficiency, but it just shouldn't be done this way. Here's the thing. We don't believe you because you've had 40 years to do it your way, and you didn't do it. So now it's actually getting done. And it may be ugly for a minute. Don't think like I'm not totally unempathetic to people losing their jobs. I'm sure it sucks, but that just
Something's had to happen.
it just has to happen. It just is what it is, like for the greater good of the whole of the country.
Yeah.
And we cannot continue the way that it is when you understand interest rates and just like think of it like this. It's almost like a home mortgage where you're only paying the interest and nothing on your principal. That's kind of, we're getting close to that point where the payment is so big, we can't afford to put anything down on the principal to get the principal down because the interest on the principal is getting so big that it's taking up our whole paycheck.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it for the whole country for people to understand. That's what's happening. And we've kicked the can down the road for so long. There's no more room to kick the can. And it's a wake-up call. And the generation that if we don't do this, that gets fucked is yours. We're going to be dead. Okay. We're going to probably squeeze through. Your generation is the one that has to pay the price for that. And it's interesting. I was listening to, there's just different things that we should be using in technology and taking advantage of these smart people that we have, like with the drones, like a lot of the future of warfare is going to be drones. Drones are going to be what probably tanks were in the 30s and 50s. Do you know what I mean? That like that big of a, whoever has the best drones wins.
Oh yeah.
And drones that are in water, drones and just incredible. And there are companies that can do it at like lower cost than other companies. And you can improve the efficiency of your military and even spend less money and protect more lives with the technology if we use it.
If you use it right. Yeah.
If we use it. If we compete instead of holding our companies back and let China, everybody's, it's no different than with the nuclear technology.
Yeah.
People, different countries, we were at different stages. Don't we want to be at the head of that table? Don't we want to be the leaders in the world? We really want our enemies to be, or potential enemies to be the leaders and be chasing them. That's not where we've operated from before. We don't want to do that. So I'm really super positive about it all going on, and a lot of screeching going on, and that's just going to continue for a while. But did we really vote for it? Do you know that's the refrain now is we didn't vote for Elon Musk? No, but we voted for this to happen, and we knew he was going to be put in charge of what he's in charge of to do this. Who else is going to do it? And wouldn't it be smarter to sit at the table and be included if you're a Democrat? You don't have to get mad and take your football and go home. You can bring your ball to the table and contribute a solution. You got a better way? That's what I think. To just hate Trump or every idea just because it was Trump that said it is not helping them at all. And let me use this last example as we wrap it up, that going back to Gaza and there's nothing there. And apparently there are 30,000 unexploded devices in Gaza. Like, you know, where you just fire something off and for whatever reason it didn't explode, that it could potentially explode, like things like that.
You just have a minefield and stuff out there.
Kinda. Yeah. And there's not, for people to go home to certain areas or neighborhoods, there's no building there. There's no grocery store there. You're going to do what? You're going to go sleep next to the rubble? The people there need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And so Trump made the suggestion about some other countries like Jordan or Egypt and things. I think, as best as I understand it, that the reason that some of them don't want them to come in there is because of the mix, that somewhere in that mix is going to be Hamas terrorists. And if they start shit in their country, then they're going to be exposed to Israel coming after them or something like that, that, you know, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that a little bit, but I always wondered about that why don't other Middle East countries do more for the people there than Europe and the US? You're part of your community. They're your people, basically. I don't know, but they have to go somewhere, at least temporarily. And the cool thing about Trump's crazy idea about rebuilding the place, well, that has to be done while people aren't there for the most part. And now Jordan and Egypt are coming up with other ideas. So Trump's idea is not something he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's not going to force it down people's throats. But here's an idea. How about we do this? If you don't like that idea, then come up with your own. Well, now for the first time, because your whole life, practically my whole life, really my whole life, because I think the war between Israel and the surrounding countries was, I believe, 1967.
Okay.
So basically, you just pretty much, the Middle East has been a dumpster fire for my entire life. Every president has tried to improve relations between Middle Eastern countries. Like that's your whole experience. You don't know anything but that. You know what I mean? There's never been peace in your lifetime in the Middle East. Ever. Ever. Every president, because that was always kind of the thing, that how much did they want to put their clout behind it and not get something done? But if a president could get something done there, that's like a Pulitzer Prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like humanitarian, the Peace Prize or whatever. You're going to be thought of as great throughout history if you can bring peace to the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
And I think what Trump is doing is, if people would step back and stop just doing the hate orange man bad, is just realize he's just putting it out there. You come up with another idea that's a workable idea that you're willing to get behind and that others are willing to get behind. He don't care. He just wants there to be peace and not war, and us not have to spend money over there and take care of everything. And great, do that.
Yeah.
Take charge. Go do that. To make other countries step up and do their part and it not just be on us.
Yeah.
And there's a change. The change was, that I've talked about in the past, is the change was, for most of my life, it was about bringing democracy to other countries. And now that's not a priority. It's your country. Do what the fuck you're going to do. As long as you're not fucking with us and, you know, creating chaos and stuff, we're good. You want to have a monarchy and a king or however you want to run your government? That's your business. We shouldn't be in the business of being in everybody else's business.
Yeah.
Because we've done that and it hasn't worked out all that well. And that's Trump's whole thing. Like, why should we continue to do the same things that haven't worked and just to try something else? And whatever he tries may work or it may not work. But if it doesn't work, he's not unwilling to try something else again. That's just what entrepreneurs do. And these politicians want to say, well, this is different than running a business. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Same thing.
It's the exact same thing. And maybe it needs to be a little bit more like that, you know? And there we have it. So we'll follow that and more in upcoming episodes, obviously. Later this week, we are going to have our third guest on the program. Bob France is going to be on the show.
Second guest.
Third. We had Tony, and we had my friend Bob. Bob
You
was
are right. You are right. Yeah, you are right. Forgot about Tony.
Yep. Bob has a great program that he does called Strictly Speaking back in Ohio. Yep. And he's done radio for years and years, and he was on WSPD in Toledo when I was on WCWA in Toledo, so that's kind of how we first became familiar with each other. He's also a conservative. He is a Browns fan, but I forgive him for that.
That's unfortunate.
No, the Browns fans just deserve better. Honestly, that's how I always felt about it. Like I like when the Browns in the 80s especially was their best decade when they came close to getting into the Super Bowl and, just had a couple of plays that kept them out. But that's when they were very, very competitive and had the best. And into the 90s a little bit. But since then, since 2000, they were a big, huge rival. They're just not a rival to us Steelers anymore. You got to win some games, or at least more than they have done against the Steelers for it to be a rivalry. When you win 12 of the last 14 games, you don't really consider it a real rivalry anymore. It's not the same thing. And like I said, the fans are good people. They deserve more. They're shit talkers too, but that's sports.
That is sports.
That is sports. But we'll be talking about politics, what's going on, what he thinks of the latest things going on in the direction of the country, and we'll have fun with it. We'll have a good time, but that's going to be later this week that it'll be. So that'll be put up Friday, right?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So Friday, that'll be Friday's episode that's loaded up. So be looking forward to that, and just have a great week. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life.